Hey guys, I'm going to do the best that I can here, okay? But I don't want anybody to correct me after the fact to say you have this detail wrong. I don't want to have them all perfectly right because these guys they don't have my respect for me to go and do that. They have not earned my respect to research this, put the quotes up, bring my team in, get everything right. So I'm going to tell you that right now because there's a guy named Pantoja who is tougher than hell. Ryan, let me get that one more time. Pantoja, who's tougher than hell. I do respect him enough to get their name right. By the way, he's great. I got no heat with Pantoja. 125-pounder, who I believe has a past with Moreno, who I believe beat Moreno. Now, somebody tell me, I haven't gone and looked this up, that he's actually beat Moreno twice. Now, that would be wildly impressive. And set that little gem aside. You then have Moreno, okay? Moreno's the champion of the world. That's a really big deal. As a matter of fact, guys, Moreno's a two-time champion of the world. You can't find many of those. They just simply aren't out there. And not only is he a two-time champion of the world, he did that in like a 12-month period. From not champion to not champion back to champion. I mean, this is incredible. Can we give Moreno that? We are told that he's an entire nation behind him. That's huge. He was a main event 3 days ago. I apologize. He was a co-main event 3 days ago who opened for a 42-year-old who was moments away from retirement and a guy named Jamal Hill who used to play basketball in college. I'm not being a dick. This happened. And this just happened. Okay, great. But you kind of got to know where you're at. So you got Pantoja is going to go and approach Moreno in the back. And it gets caught on film, and I saw it. And it was great. And Moreno said to him, I promise you, you're next. And he didn't say it from a threatening standpoint. Pantoja had walked up to Moreno. This is Moreno's great moment. And Moreno said it out of, hey, I've seen you. I know what you've done. Now that I've done this and I'm in a driver's, I'm going to let you know. I'm bringing you on this journey. It was a very sweet thing. The way that Moreno did, I just want to make sure that you understand that correctly. Pantoja has then come out since and said he does not appreciate the villain role that Moreno has put him in. He doesn't like that. I got to look at it and then he gives Moreno a very hard time. By the way, he doesn't like that they call him a villain, and then he goes on to say a number of heel things. But after he makes his heel comments, he tries to bring it back to a face by talking about, oh, but I know Moreno's not scared. He's a Mexican fighter, and the Mexicans are so proud, right? He's no longer talking about Moreno or to you. He's trying to win over this demographic that he will never win over. Like, the Mexican people don't respect when you pander to them as a fight crowd. They respect when you come and bring your efforts against their guy. It's not going to be the end of Rocky IV where the Russians are chanting USA. And the mere fact that you think you could do that in an interview insults them. Now, he doesn't know that. He's not a sophisticated guy. I'm just sharing that with you. And the number one thing that has me worked up about this is Pantoja. Let's set Moreno's comment to you aside. Let's set that somebody filmed as he promised you this. Let's set aside the villain role. Let's set aside all the things that would be really interesting. There's no one else to fight him. I mean, just man to man, let me tell you, there's no one else to fight him. The UFC is not in a matchmaker meeting today talking about the 3 or 4 or 5 guys they need to consider. It's just you. Now, I don't think I'm putting you down by telling you that. I think that I'm leveling with you, but it's important that you know the score. It's important that you know where you are, because there's times where you pick a fight, there's times where you promote a fight. If you don't know which gear you're in, we're still back at the starting line. Then you have Moreno that wants to come out. And Moreno goes in front of the Brazilian crowd, and this is very relevant because, again, this just shows a separation from a sophistication versus where Moreno's at. Moreno goes before a Brazilian live audience with an attempt to win them over. He wanted to win over the actual building that was there. Okay? A country that he will never compete in again. He wants to win over the 14,000 people that have actually showed up. To do that, he takes a microphone that is being broadcast to the world. So now the whole world sees a weakness from the world champion. They see him being weak. They see he's supposed to be this tough guy. He can't even take the booze. And he says, I didn't mean any of this. I'm just trying to feed my family. Okay? To explain the frustration that I have when a guy says that, you're talking about making money. You're talking about being a prize fighter, you're talking about making money, you're talking about why you do it and what it's all about. And you have this beautiful message that is about my wife and those couple brats back at home. That's your beautiful message. But you take money right out of the register when you come out and you tell the audience that you only did and said certain things to take their money. There are very few things that will send you down faster. Imagine any other business, guys. Just think of it, any other business. The restaurant, can we all relate to a restaurant? You go get steak at a restaurant. Now, the restaurant comes out and tells people, hey, we're selling these as filet mignon. It's actually sirloin. No one knows the difference. Okay, great. You got their money at one point, but now nobody's coming back. I mean, anything in life that is retail sales, and you come and tell somebody, I only said this to sell it. It's not even actually true. They don't come back. So Moreno wants to go out and say, I'm just trying to feed my family while he's making statements that are taken away from his family. I'm just sharing this with you. It's a two-time champion of the world who brings a nation with him, who not for nothing is young. He's kind of a cute guy. On top of being really good, like he's kind of cute and playful. He checks a lot of boxes. He was a co-main event to a retiring fighter and a college basketball player. That's just the truth. So now you have an opportunity to tell a story. Every story that anybody has ever heard has a good guy and it has a bad guy. So you've got Moreno, who couldn't take the boos of a crowd that's just about to throw beers on him. They dislike him so much, they are going to shower him with paraphernalia, and he has to try to win them over. I'm just a guy trying to feed my family. And I think it was the upside down smile. I think that's what sewered me more than anything else. Showing them the body language, letting them know that they agree. I think that is what turned me on him more than anything else. I mean, he's a co-main event guy. These things that he's saying, these are what the co-main event says. A guy who'd broken through to the main event would never have this mentality, and he would never do these things. So I'm not upset about it. I'm just sharing. A co-main event guy did co-main event things. And he's now doing it with a co-main event partner who doesn't want to be the villain. What do you care if you're the villain? What difference does that make? Have you ever showed up to practice and told your trainer, I want to be liked? I mean, have you done, listen, if you have you done those things? You got a cage fighter who over-celebrates when he wins after beating up guys who suck. What part of that do you think that is a good guy? I mean, what part, when you look in the mirror and you look at what you've done and you look at your contributions to this world, what part of you, Pantoja, thinks that you're a good guy? But you don't have the courage to be the villain. Moreno didn't have the courage to be a villain to a group of people who despise him and are just about to assault him. These are co-main event guys. They're doing co-main event things. I suppose in all fairness, there's nothing to see here except for this.